This is a video on Scratch 0.3 or Scratch 28 February 2005, and without further ado, let's just open it. And I have just already opened it, and so you can see that the UI is quite more closer to Scratch than ever. I mean Scratch 1.4 in this case, and not only the UI but its theme as well. Actually, the UI is already same in 0.2, but now the theme itself also becomes similar, almost similar. So let's just click the start to create a new sprite so that we can see some bunch of blocks. And now we can see that shift clicking R doesn't work, which is a trick. Maybe you guys don't know in Scratch 1.4. And if you not shift click and you can shift click the menu to get those features like showing the experimental blocks. Let me just show it because I like to explore extra blocks. You can see that from tiles clones these features were removed again and they were re-added. And not only that, but these extra things from I think from pointless drop till blur are experimental blocks, as well as some sensing blocks which include camera motion are also experimental blocks, but they will not work because camera cannot be on and there's a bug. And I think there's bunch more experimental blocks even in the media and several other places I have not seen. And let me just keep it shown. And you can also set to the single stepping, which is before when turbo mode was never there. You can use this feature to on turbo mode, and you can see that we cannot set proper speed as in 0.2, but yeah, you can just turbo mode or normal mode. And we can also set MIDI port as in 0.2, and we can also show sensor board, which is a working feature, but let's just hide it. And we can also start camera sensor, but it's buggy. And we can also there is two dev features which is for coding in Squeak, so that you can make Scratch modifications or do some particular things. And yeah, you can create a new project using this thing. Let me give no save. Oh yeah, and we can create a new sprite using this thing. And let's just save it now and give a file name as example 0.3. That's okay. Let me just see how much time it takes to save. I don't know. And yeah, you can save as well, but don't do undo because undo feature is a bug in this thing, because it even retains things from previous project or does many more things like putting GIF files and several other bugs it creates. They're quite bad because it takes the whole canvas and brings it back. That's the problem, but I don't know, it just breaks things and makes them more useless. I don't know why it's having two costumes. I think it's a bug and it's from experimental blocks only. Like, I think if experimental blocks are not on, you cannot see some of these things. So let's just show it back. Yeah, it's showing. And you cannot do undo, I already told. So let's just go a little more further in the right. And before that, let's just see the file. It's still called .scratch and it's also saving a GIF file as a thumbnail. Let's just check out opening things. Still there's no thumbnail display, but yet it's just simply saving a thumbnail in a GIF file. And if you go further right and slightly below, you can see that there's an general cursor and also a general cursor over here option, and also there's a duplicate option so that you can clone this, copy this sprite, which we of course already know. You're supposed to know. Oh, this is more vulnerable, and it's coming out of the canvas as well. That's the problem. But and to delete the sprites, I think you have to, for deleting the sprites, you have to be right clicking in the canvas and pressing delete. And of course there's many more options here. Grab from screen, export this sprite and set rotation thing. You cannot right click here to delete things because it's not working. That's the thing about these versions. And yeah, we can see the next feature, which is deleting things. We can delete using this thing, and I by mistakenly to right click. You can also delete using right clicking, but you can use this feature as well. Once you just simply copy this sprite. Let's copy this sprite. We can just delete it using this thing, which is much more easier, I think so. And you can also change size manually using this thing, but of course there are looks effects for it, like changing the size, but I don't know, there's no reporter for size, so we don't know it's really changing the size or like simply making it bigger, simply stretching the sprite, seeing it's doing it graphically, or maybe I don't know. Let me just see. It's not doing it graphically, maybe It's not doing it graphically, it's doing using size only. So let's just set back the size to 100%. You can see it's working, that means it's changing the size. And there's even a question mark for help, but that feature is not working because I only copy pasted the image file. You can see over scratch 28th February. Actually, image file is not a photo, it's more like a squeak saving method. Maybe it's quite complicated for you, but yet fine. Just copy and paste the same thing into a normal scratch 1.4 and delete something called scratch.image and just paste this thing so that you can get it. And of course, you don't need all of the scratch 1.4, you just need this much things, which include DLLs and application. I don't know if you need DLLs, but it's required in more newer versions. Maybe 0.1 no need. And let's just check it out. And even this thing is formed by Scratch itself. This version is quite messy. I don't know. I think so. Messy means create some messy files, too much files, but yet fine. And yeah, after this you can see in the further right a larger button which is for creating a new sprite. Means a cat sprite only by default. Let's just delete it. Oops, sorry for showing it twice, but okay, let me just switch back to normal thing. And there's also a start thing. We can test it out by taking a control block called like this. Let me explain it later. As it's an when I receive block, but this is an default go button for receiving it. Let's just put a simple thing and we can see it's working. And I just drag it back, maybe we'll test it later. And we can also of course stop it. And let's just look at the block palette now, and unfortunately I can see that the scripting block has been removed, which was there in 0.2 and 0.1. I mean, scripting means procedure blocks, procedure feature, like making our own block, which was there in 2.0, but really it was there in 0.2 and 0.1 actually, and it's just removed in 0.3 for some reason. Maybe they thought it's too complicated, but I don't know why they re-added it, but yet fine. And it's quite important feature, but still there are some other features. And let me see if I enable it. Yeah, experimental blocks are enabled so that we can see all the blocks that are available, which include some features from the previous version as well. And we can see that there is a repeat block, forever block. Let me not read this out very too much. Let me just read this out simply because I think most of these we can understand. Repeat things, forever, if, and of course there's no if else still. And just wait 1 second, we can, when this sprite clicked and when space key is clicked, we can of course, there's even a drop down menu for this. It appears like we can type over here, but we cannot. As also we cannot put any reporter block into some of these features, like when space is clicked. As you can maybe see, I don't know if it will work this time, I don't know. Let me just check. Like, you can see some reporter blocks don't go in. No reporter blocks go in actually, even though it appears like it can go. We can also broadcast go by choosing the thing, but of course this feature will not work with go, but go some default thing. We have to just create other things, other messages, like example broadcast is for broadcasting a thing, and this for broadcasting and waiting. This is like when I receive a message. Once you broadcast a message, it go to receive, and go is a default message which you receive when you press the start button, which means like it's more like when the flag is pressed, move 10 steps. And I'm again saying when I receive message go, which means when flag is pressed. And if you change to any other broadcast like setup, I don't know, setup is one more default thing, but I don't know when it will work. And you can create another thing, maybe message name. Like this for default broadcast, you can see that there's an horizontal ruler line or something between these differentiating this and this, and these are the default things, which is go and setup. Go is a default broadcast which you should understand. Like when you press the start button, it will broadcast the go automatically when you press this button, and it will go come here and move 10 steps or do whatever below this. That's how it works, because when the flag is clicked, it's never there in this version. There's even timer and wait until and stop all. I think done is also there. Let's just test it out. Done means stop the script. Done is same as stop the script. So let's just create a simple script, maybe when I receive this, like when I receive flag actually, but it's when I receive a message. Go means a default message for when the flag is pressed, or like when start is pressed. And forever, let's just add a if condition so that we can see some particular thing. Yeah, we can move 10 steps, and if like maybe like touching edge, then in the sensing category it's there, like touching. I don't know if touching edge is there. This version is there, however, and we can do done, which means stop the script. So let's start this thing. You can see that it's stopped. Let me just move it a little bit that side so that you can see. Look, we have stopped the script. Not like the whole project has been stopped, but just stop the script. And let's just test it manually because it's so hard to go there and press the button and come back. And you can of course move 10 steps, turn 15 degree and point towards a particular direction. These are the features there in Scratch, so I don't need to explain too much. And yeah, jump to, this means go to. Jump to same as go to. Jump to a particular X and Y position. And even this pen down, but it's in the category of motion. These pen features are there in the category of motion. It's quite weird, but fine. Yeah, we can do pen down. It's a working feature actually. I'm just clicking it. You can see it's a working feature. And I just jump back to 0 0 and just pen up and clear all these things. And if also we can, I think these features all are working, and even we can check if it's touching on if it's on the edge or not. These features still there. And yeah, these reporters are there, X, Y and direction. And then you can see that there are clone features, which was then 2.0 as well, I mean 0.2. Once you clone it, you can like drag the clone out. I don't know which way you're dragging it, because you can see this is the real sprite, this is the clone. Actually the clone acts more like the sprite itself in the time of cloning. Imagine like it's saying something like a message like hello. You can see it's saying hello, this is the real sprite. And I just create a clone. Even the clone is saying hello, means it's copying the real sprite on even saying the things, but I don't know if it's still, even if it's now like that. And yeah, we can also delete the clone. Yeah, and you can just delete a particular clone if it's in. Also you can check for it's a clone or not. And let us do tile cloning. Oh, that's what's my mistake. I should not have done tile cloning at this time. I should just stop that hello thing. This is a bug of course, and it's a problem, but what can I do? It's quite buggy features is still there. Let me just, I think even this is a tile clone, which is quite weird. I didn't expect this to be a tile clone. Saying itself is a tile clone, which is quite weird. But that's what Scratch old versions. Moreover, it's a beta version of course, which I already told, I think so in the beginning of the video. If I didn't, I'm sorry. And yeah, so I just forgot where we left it. Okay, let's just continue from motion itself. And yeah, we have seen the tile clone thing. Let me just tile clone it. You can see it's like puzzle pieces. This is the real sprite because it's like on one piece. You can see these are like puzzle pieces. Like you can separate these things like puzzle pieces. We're dragging things like that, and etc etc. You can see how much pieces it's like. I think you can, this is useful for creating puzzles and many other features, but we can delete all the clones. And looks, then there are looks, which has been divided into two categories now. In 0.2 it was just one. Eventually it will again become a one category, because this in this times they didn't thought of adding a drop down menu for like this looks, means like change this thing. They could have added a drop down menu, but I don't know, maybe Scratch team didn't got some sense. Also you can see one thing, like it's a little bit buggy. This scroll is appearing everywhere, and if you scroll too much only, you can just scroll a little bit distance, which is weird, but still fine. And I didn't notice it much, but it's also a problem with this thing. And yeah, these two categories has been came. Also you can put a drop down menu here, which I already told, but I don't know, Scratch team has something else going on, so they made a mistake maybe. Later they just recovered from the mistake maybe. And you can also set the costume to a particular costume you want. Just duplicate this and maybe I make a little bit edit. And yeah, the paint editor is quite similar to the previous version only. I don't know how to paint this thing, so I'm just gonna simply on that thing and just do some stuff here. Well, it's not nice, but fine. That's good for this editing. Like, we can switch to whatever costume you wanted to. You can choose and change, which is working feature actually. So I don't know why I'm showing this, even though it's a we know. And I'm saying like its reporter blocks are not working in some places because we cannot type it, or even the join block is not there. But I'm just simply trying to put a reporter block here. We cannot put. But in Neo Scratch you can even put if it doesn't make even a sense. But we can put the reporter block. Like, imagine like we need to switch to a costume like number 1, and we can put a number like that. We cannot do it because we cannot drag the reporter block inside, but in Scratch Neo versions it's possible. And yeah, that's about it. And we can also change it by the number. I already told the reporter block cannot be put, that's why this number thing is there. You can also change costume by a particular number, which means 1 means slowly changing, and 3, in case we are having many costumes, you can change the costume slowly by how much ever number you want, and you can skip a particular things. This can be done using mathematics, but it's not possible now. And we can change the size by a particular value, which we know it's still there, and set it back to normal. Then you can see there's a stretching thing for stretching a sprite, but this one is doing it horizontally. And I don't know if it will work when you do it in other way, like turning it to 15° and then trying to do stretching. It's working, but in the previous version it didn't work well. It just turned back by minus 15°. I think the turn left and turn right has been removed and replaced with this one thing. And then you can see that there is a say thing which we already tested out, and these things are still there, show and hide. And there's change visibility, which is for like ghost effects, but I don't know why they didn't add to effects, but maybe it's so important. They thought that even the hide is over here, so they thought visibility should be here. Let me set the stretch back to normal. And we can also go to front layer and back layer, and you can see that several other effects are over here, because I cannot speak everything, but I'll just try. You can see that there are effects like color effects, fish eye, whirl, pixelate, mosaic, bright shift, saturation shift, pointwise drop, water ripple, and blur. Several other features. Maybe let's just test it out. But you can see that these things don't work, because when I clicked it, it's saying some error. All these features never worked. They're just simply for a placeholder. And we can clear graphics effect. And yeah, then there's the numbers. Most of the features are same like in previous versions, but yeah, I think so. Mode is now added, but I don't remember it's there or not. But absolute values, I'm confirming that it's there. It is there in this version only. It's quite new, and you can set this to variable if you need to see how it comes. And we can do beeping, which doesn't works in my computer, but I don't know if it will work on Mac OS or something. And we can play sounds. Actually, it's just loading in my computer because something is happening. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. If you can hear it, it's fine. And you can rewind sound. I don't know the meaning of rewind, so I just tried it and I don't know what is the rewind. And even the cat sound is quite weird, because they have recorded a different sound in the older times. And you can also play a note. Just set to 200. Can we set it to 200%? I'm asking. I don't know if the sound has increased or not. I think 100% is maximum, so let me set it to default because I don't need any problems. You can see that the drum has been working, and you can choose whatever you want. Yeah, you can also choose your instrument. or you can change to instrument whatever you want. Actually the instruments were quite different, I think so, and I don't know if it is same in the 1.4 as well, like these instruments, because I forgot 1.4's whole thing because I have not been using for a long time as the main program. Also you can like set loudness and change loudness, which we know. And yeah, there are experimental features like start movie and stop movie, but I don't know how to import a movie here because that feature itself is like removed. Maybe it's in sound category. Wait, what it's saying? It should be in like an AIF extension or wave extension. Let us import this thing. It should be in JPEG, GIF, BMP. Actually it doesn't support PNG, which is weird, but I don't know about 1.4 what it supports. And yeah, there are a bunch of experimental features here, even for like horizontal planning, and I don't know, vertical planning, does it work? Let me just do more and more horizontal panning. Okay, that's fine. Let me just do it back like opposite direction. I don't know, I cannot see any difference. I think it's only for sounds like cat sounds, maybe, I don't know. Let's just play some things like, let me just change it by totally 180. I cannot see the difference, that's my problem. So these features are maybe in beta, and some of these features don't work because I cannot import movies now. Movies or like GIF files, I think so. I think so, that's what it meant. And also GIF files can automatically turn into costumes, I think so, in this version, because I don't try GIF files much. They don't have much GIF files in my computer anyway. And there's mouse X, mouse Y, and these features are still common. And some of the sensing blocks are missing because not much sensing blocks were there. And also there's sensors for motors, I mean sensor board, which you can shift click in the menu for getting, and we can show the sensor board and we can start it, but I don't know if it has bugs or not. I think it should work because I think Scratch team has tried it once and there's an image of it. Let me make a variable for all, and we can also make it for a sprite. You can see that the variable for all is light in color, while the variable for the sprite is like dark in color with white text, and for all it's black in, the text is black in color and light green. And if we drop this here, I don't know what we'll get. I mean, we can drop the report over here to get an, I don't know what they say, stage reporter maybe. I think stage monitor, yeah, stage monitor. And I didn't notice that for many times, and I thought it's never possible, but it was possible in these versions. And we can change it to an slider as well. And yeah, we can delete the variables by choosing like this. I think we have seen all the block features. Let's just see into the sound editor, which was even there in the previous version, but let's just simply look. Not much changes are available, but fine.